Good afternoon. Welcome to EduSat Network. Friend, as you know, we are having discussion on problem solving. In the started lecture, we saw how MIS can be useful in problem solving. Today, we will move further and we will talk about the tools of problem solving, procedure, problem solving cycles, and the various facets of problem solving in managerial functions, how it could be done. And as we discussed in the last lecture, the problem could be advantage for you if you solve properly and give a competitors an edge over that. So how could this be done? We have complete lecture today on problem solving from the expert of this field, Dr. Subhas CATWOE. He is a management personality and has given contribution to both of the world, corporate as well as academics, have 40 years experience and Six Sigma expert, and he has many contribution in the field of management and managerial practices. So I hope his knowledge and long experience will help us to understand problem solving in a new way and will give an insight to problem solving. So on your behalf, I welcome Dr. CATWOE for EduSat lecture on this very topic, problem solving. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Arbinder. I welcome all the viewers to participate in today's discussion on problem solving. And during our life, we must have faced a lot of problems and we must have got the solutions to those problems using some method or using no method, but solutions are sought. And today we will have procedure for solving the problems. We will discuss the problem cycle and then finally we will discuss certain tools for solving the problems. And I have devised a method also which I call A4x2 problem solving technique, and we will discuss that technique also so that the viewers can take help in solving their problems. We have discussed, we have solved the problems in our college life, in our school life, and the problems are given to us, maybe mathematical problems, maybe scientific problems. If we discuss a mathematical problem, some data are given to us and something is missing, and we are asked to find out that missing value, and the missing value is found by using some formula, and then finally we find the missing value, and that is the answer to our problem. And similar problem we have in the management field. When we have such kind of problems, a similar procedure is used, but having a solution to the management problems, a certain changes are made in the cycle, and those cycle I am going to discuss with you. And prior to that, for solving the problem, we should have a proper attitude and the strategy, and we are going to discuss that attitude and that strategy. And as I discussed, I shall be teaching you A4x2 technique also, which will be discussed at a later stage. A few basic problem solving strategies we are to discuss so that you get started to have the problems fixed in your future life. The strategies are: always keep an open mind for new opportunities and ways of doing things. Don't follow the routine strategy, don't follow the routine procedure. Always be open to the new system which is available or which you are going to have in the future. Stay flexible. That should be the strategy. Don't be rigid. Don't be rigid that this is the only solution, no other solution is possible, and this will be achieved only by flexibility in the attitude. And be willing to try out new methods. If the old methods are there and you are going to have a solution through old methods, then always try to find some new strategies, new methods to solve the problems. Never commit until you have tested several techniques, several methods, several procedures. After testing them, only then you implement them and then have a faith in that particular method and have a trust in that particular method. Rigidity is a trap. If you are rigid, you are caught in the trap. That's why I have told you, you should be flexible, and flexibility is the main principle of finding a solution to the problem. If you can't adapt, you can't truly live. Continuing with the strategy of problem solving, a solution is only as good as the color of the hat. De Bono has given us a book, 6 thinking hats. Each hat has a different color, and the color of the hat has a different meaning attached to it. So, we should be having different hats on our head while solving the problem. A black hat gives us a negative thinking, and we should also wear this black hat to have a negative feeling while solving the problem, because it is not a rosy picture all the time that problem will be a success or the solution will be a success. Then we should also look for a failure also, and we should be prepared to face the failure and what sort of actions be taken when we get the failure instead of getting the success. That is given by putting on the black hat. Never forget there are 5 other hat colors and 5 other ways of looking at the problem. We will discuss these all 6 hat colors at a later stage. So, we should have different colors of the hats when we are solving the problem and different stages. Big picture thinking is critical for solving problem. We should think big, we should look big to solve the problem, so that we get a proper perspective of the problem to find a solution to the problem. You must be able to remove yourself from the problem and look at the situation objectively. Keep yourself away from the problem. Don't get involved with the problem, don't get embedded into the problem. Keep yourself away from the problem so that you can see the solutions in a proper perspective. Get up in that helicopter and get an aerial view of the problem. Broader view of the problem, broader solutions will be there, and the best solution will be implemented. Stepping outside the problem will make it much clearer than ever before, and this way you will get much closer to the problem solution. Always ask questions. You are just one person limited by the power of one person's mind. To be truly inspired to solve problems well, you must harness the power of others' intelligence. You are not the only person who can give the solution to the problem. There are others available who can also give suggestions, who can also give solutions to the problem. Always take help from others so that your solution is the best solution. Gather information, read books, do research and learn as much as you possible. And this is the main story behind solving the problem. When we read, when we study, we get information, only then we get the best alternative solution to solve the problem. Stay focused. We should not see the things in a haywire manner. We should be focused. Our main aim is to get the solution to the problem. Our main goal is to solve the problem. Don't allow yourself to get distracted, because if you get distracted, you will not reach the solution. Taking on too much or spreading yourself too thin may significantly delay the solution of the problem. That is why I am telling, keep yourself focused only to the problem to find the solution. Do one step at a time, slow and steady wins the race. Okay, don't start everything at one point of time. Do only stepwise, one step at a time, and then finally get the solution and be a successful person in solving the problem. More problem solving strategies. We will discuss certain strategies in depth also. You have to be realistic. Make sure your plans are not too far beyond your reach. Nothing will sabotage an attempt to solve a challenging problem faster than making the problem too big. So, while getting a solution to the problem, break it down into pieces and solve one by one each piece of the problem, so that final solution you get and where you get the success. Blowing things out of proportion will ensure you never solve the problem. Okay? Don't be afraid of the problem. Okay? Don't blow things out of proportion. Okay? That will not going to help you. Only step by step solving the problem will get to the best solution. Follow through. When you do something, you have to follow through also. What has happened? What is the result of the action? Finish what you start. Don't start everything. Whatever you start, you have to finish it also. You are better off solving one problem at a time rather than starting 10 problems at one point of time and doing nothing, getting no success in those 10 areas. The sense of accomplishment should be there at each step, and you are to pat yourself on the back for accomplishing results. You can always try again or dig a little deeper later on, but every step when you get a success, you are to thank yourself for that. That is the main aim of solving a problem. Be thankful for what you have. Being envious of others' success will never help you in going beyond the limits, and you have to go beyond the limits to solve the problem. It is the one step extra which you take that will lead you to the goal of your problem. Remember that every person who seems successful always has their own set of problems, and they find the solution to those problems. There are few people who have achieved total satisfaction, and I want that you should be among those few people who are successful in solving the problems totally and wholly. Break it down into smaller pieces. How do you eat an apple? One bite at a time, not the complete apple at a time. So this is the case with the problem also. Break it down into smaller pieces and solve the smaller pieces at one point of time, and finally you will complete all the pieces and the problem will be solved. Start at the beginning and work to the end, and the end will definitely come to you. Smaller is better when it comes to solving a problem. Don't substitute one problem for another. Solving one problem and adding another problem is not going to help you. Be careful as you work through your challenges that you don't accidentally create new problems. You have to take care that while solving one problem, you don't create another problem. You have to deal with the whole problem, not just piecemeal. Still more problem solving strategies to make you an expert. I want that you should be expert in solving any sort of problem. If something does not work, learn from it and move on. Don't stay with it. Don't live with the problem. Always try to find the solution to the problem. There is no point dwelling on the past or on the failing. Failure in the problem solving should guide you only, and they should not discourage you. Nothing is ever a failure unless you don't learn from it. A failure should be a learning point for you. Thomas Alva Edison said, I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that do not work. He tried to have a lighting bulb 10,000 times and he failed. He said, these are experiences of failure. Celebrate your success and reward yourself as you go along. And don't wait until the end. Don't wait that at the end of the problem solving phase, we will be happy. Every step when you get success, you should be happy. We are human and we are weak. We always want that we should be successful and somebody should pat us. Here you are to pat yourself on each and every success. Find cheerleaders to cheer you up while you are working on the problem. Build a team of people around you who will help you move forward, and keep away from the people who discourage you. Don't give your problem solving power to people who are jealous or scared of the problem. Keep yourself away from such people. Don't give up in the face of adversity. Challenge, face it. If it was easy to solve a challenging problem, it would not be called a challenge. So challenging problem is there, and it is, I know that, difficult, and then find a solution to that problem. Keep going, keep trying, keep hoping, and keep learning all the time. Remember, every day is a fresh start for starting a problem. Do you remember Gavaskar? After making 1 century, he used to take a guard again. Similarly, you have to start it again and again, and each day should be a new experience for you. Expect your best from yourself. Never be so hard on yourself that you force yourself to fall. But at the same time, never be so easy on yourself that you allow yourself to fail either. So you should be flexible. You should have a flexible attitude while solving a problem. The goal is to keep up enough pressure to get the job done without falling to either extreme conditions. Be the CEO of your problem, chief executive officer of the problem you are. You know each and everything better than anybody else in the world. If you are working in the organization, your seniors are there, your boss is there, and you are the person who knows better than anybody else regarding the problem which you are working on. That's why I have written, be the CEO of your problem. Now we will discuss types of problems and the decisions. Structured problems and which are called programmed decisions. Structured problems involve goals that are clear in mind, are familiar, are easily and completely defined. Information about the problem is available and complete thing is available to us. And we have then programmed decisions to solve these kind of problems which are structured in nature, or we can also call them programmed problems. But there are problems which are unstructured, nothing is available. Problems that are new or unusual in nature, for which information is ambiguous or incomplete. We will find solution to these kind of problems also. Problems that will require custom-made solutions. These unstructured problems will have to be given tailor-made solutions. Non-programmed decisions, and these decisions are non-programmed. Decisions that are unique and non-recurring. Decisions that generate unique responses, and these are for unstructured problems. Types of programmed decisions. Policy is there, this is under structured problems. Procedure, again structured problem. And if you want to make a rule, that is also under structured problem or programmed problem. Now, I have a table which gives the difference between programmed and non-programmed decisions. Let us discuss characteristics, let us discuss programmed decisions and non-programmed decisions. Type of problem, structured, unstructured. Managerial level required for programmed decisions are lower level, where upper level management solves non-programmed decisions. Frequency, repetitive in nature, and unprogrammed, unstructured problems are new and unusual, and they occur once in a while. Information readily available, but regarding non-programmed, not easily available. It is ambiguous in nature and sometimes it is incomplete also. Time frame for solution, short for structured problems. Unstructured, relatively longer period is there for getting a solution to these kind of problems. Solution relies on procedures, rules and policies, and non-programmed decisions are dependent on judgment and creativity. Now, we will discuss 9-step problem solving cycle, and these 9 steps are given like this. First, understand the problem. Understanding of the problem is very important. What is the basic thing which is involved in the problem? Then the collect facts regarding the problem. Then you have to state the problem in your own language so that you as an analyst can solve the problem. Because the top management will be giving you certain statements regarding the problem. When you collect some facts and data, then you will be able to understand the problem completely, and then you can narrate and define the problem in your own language. That will be the statement of the problem. After this, you collect further data, because you are to get the solution to the problem. Data available regarding that problem you have to collect, and then find out the root cause of the problem. There are different tools available to find out the root cause of the problem. What is the basic thing which is causing the problem, which should be removed and solve the problem. Then list, evaluate alternate solutions. There will be so many solutions to solve the problem, and then list them out and then evaluate them. Then select the best one. For evaluation, there are different techniques, we shall be discussing them at the later stage, and then implement the best solution. Then examine the results. After implementing the solution, you have to examine the results, what you have achieved Is there any gap? Then that gap is to be bridged, or certain modifications in the implemented solution is required, and then those changes be made, and finally the solution should be implemented. And when this is a success, then save and record the case in your history book, so that in future if similar problem occurs, you can go back and see what was done and what was the solution. So, these are the 9-step problem solving cycle, and this is followed day in and day out. And based on this, we have a PDCA cycle also, and that is given by TQM people, Total Quality Management. Deming has given PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act, based on these 9 steps only. First 6 steps, they are regarding organizing or planning. Planning I have taken from PDCA cycle. All these 6 items cover the planning part. And the next, implement best solution, is the do part, plan, do, and next is examine result and make changes if required, is the check and act part. Now, plan I have replaced it with organize, because there are certain things, so many things which are required to be organized. First is understand the problem, collect facts, state problem, collect data, find root cause of the problem, list and evaluate alternate solutions. These are all included in organize. And next is I have dropped do also, and I have taken implement, because in this at this stage I am going to implement the solution which is the best solution out of the alternate solutions available. And next one is check and act. I am going to replace it also, check and act if required, check the results and act if required, because action will be taken only when the results are not proper. If there is a gap between the results achieved and the results sought, only then the action will be taken. That is why I have written checked and act. Next one is the lesson learned. Whatever we have done so far, that is a lesson we have learned, and it should be recorded somewhere in our history book or in a file, and we should be saving this case study for future use. In future, if similar problem is there, we will make use of this learning and use the same solution to solve the problem. So, I have changed it to organize, implement, check and act, and lesson learned. And now, this is OIC, organize, implement, check, all. A stands for act, L lesson, L learn. OIC all is the fresh cycle which I have named it for solving a problem. OIC all, problem solving cycle. Organize, go to implementation stage, go to checking stage, go to action, and finally go to the lesson learned. This is the 5-step cycle for solving the problem, and this cycle is called OIC all. OIC all. Now, we will discuss the A4/2. In the first slide, I have given you an idea of A4/2 technique for solving problem. What is this particular technique? A4 is the size of the paper which is used for recording the facts and the figures of the problem, and these facts and figures are listed on the A4/2 sheet. Why it is by 2? Because A4 sheet has 2 sides, front side and the back side. On the front side, we have all the systems which are written down, all the tools which are written down, and what is to be recorded, it is written down. Let us discuss all these points one by one. On the A4/2 template, the front side of the sheet, first point is understand the problem. After understanding the problem, then for recording this, you have to get the facts stated. Second point is collect facts regarding the problem. Third, state the problem. After understanding the problem, based on the facts achieved, you have to state the problem, you have to define the problem in your own language as an analyst who will be solving the problem. At point number 4, collect data. Point number 5, find root cause of the problem. There are different tools available for finding the root cause of the problem. You have to list them here which are available. Say like root cause analysis, 5 whys are there, and these tools will be discussed at a later stage. Point number 6, state root cause of the problem. You have to now find out the cause which is causing the problem out of these listed root cause problem tools. 7, list alternate solution based on the problem, based on the root cause. Now you have to list all the alternate solutions which are possible for getting a solution to the problem. 8, alternate evaluation method. You have to list the alternate evaluation method. There are so many methods available. One is a matrix method, which involves all the factors which are to be taken care of while getting a solution to the problem, and then evaluation is done based on alternate evaluation methods based on matrix method. Suggest best solution. After these alternate methods and the evaluation techniques, you are to name only one method which should be implemented, and then implement best solution. Then you have to write here the way you implemented the solution. Then 11, point number 11 is examine the results. After implementing, what you have achieved, you have to list it down. If satisfactory, say yes. If not satisfactory, say no. If no, suggest changes. If your answer is no, then you have to suggest changes which are required in the implemented solution. If yes, go to the point number 16. Point number 16 is save and record the case on the other side of the sheet. So, on the other side of the sheet, you have to make a history. 13 point, implement change. If the answer was no, you have suggested changes required in the implemented solution, then make the change, implement the change. Then again examine the results. If satisfactory, yes. If unsatisfactory, no. And similarly, if yes is there, record the changes on the back side of the sheet. And this is only a template where all the tools etc. will be written. On the back side of the sheet, we write what exactly tool we have used, what exactly evaluation method we have used. All these things are recorded on the back side, and then the case is also recorded on the back side. And this is the A4/2 method of solving problem. And this is basically the sheet and the template of the A4. And here space is also given, space is also left for writing different things, different ideas, like different alternate solutions. These are to be listed here. Root cause analysis, different methods are to be written. And out of these methods, which is selected, that is encircled, and the details are written on the other side of the sheet. This is called A4/2 problem solution sheet. Now, regarding understand problem, which is the first point, sometimes narration of the problem is different than the problem itself. I have an example here. One day, which was the first day of the session in a college, principal found that students are roaming here and there, and attendance in the classes is also very poor. She started telling it to everyone, there is no discipline in the college. Everyone is roaming here and there, and even the attendance is poor. What is happening to the college? This is a top management giving the statement of the problem. But when her secretary got the details of these problems, she found that the problem is not with the students, problem is not with the classrooms, problem is not with the teachers, it is problem with the transportation system. College buses did not arrive at the specified bus stops on that particular day. That's why the students were coming late. Why didn't the bus drivers bring the buses to the stops on time? The reason was no proper schedule was given to them. That was the reason regarding this roaming about of the students and poor attendance in the classes. So, main problem was giving the proper schedule to the bus drivers on time. So, problem is now shifted to something else. Earlier the statement was giving us different things, that there is total indiscipline in the college, but the problem is giving the schedule to the drivers on time. So, the person who is supposed to give the schedule should be asked to give the schedule on time, so that there is no indiscipline, there is no poor attendance in the college. So, statement of the problem is now different. So, principal's concern is regarding indiscipline, poor attendance, and the problem was somewhere else. Principal secretary, when found the reason for poor attendance and roaming about of the student's story, was different. So, second step, collect facts. After getting the facts, the problem will be totally different. This process will give you exact nature of the problem. Our earlier problem of the college gave a different picture altogether when the facts were collected by the principal secretary. As I already discussed, the problem was with the schedule being given to the bus drivers. So, now you have to state the problem in your own language, so that you get an answer to the problem. The process gives you 4 steps that help you better understand complete problems. These steps are: establish the need, justify the need, understand the problem and its wider context, write a problem statement. After understanding first 3 points, you will be ready to write the problem. That is going to be the definition of the problem or statement of the problem. State problem now. The problem statement definition process encourages you to define and understand the problem that you are trying to solve in detail. It helps you confirm that solving the problem contributes toward your organizational goals and objectives. Goals and objectives of the organization will be achieved if you give a solution to this problem. Now, state the problem. This stops you spending time, energy and resources on unimportant problems or initiatives that don't align with your organization's goals and the targets and the objectives. Again, we will talk about stating the problem only. It also encourages you to fully define the problem and its boundaries. You can then use the information to justify the need for change, brief designers and contractors and kick off new projects successfully. Establish the need. The first step is to identify why you need a solution to the problem, why it is so important that you should have a solution to the problem. To do this, answer these questions. What is the basic need? What is the basic objective of the organization? First, write your problem down in simple terms and then identify the basic need that you will fulfill once you have solved the problem. What basic need will be fulfilled after getting a solution to the problem? You have to write. And I have an example also. So, problem is there and the need, I have written it here. First problem is customers are not completing orders once they are signed up for website account. The need is get higher online sales. That was a need and the problem is this. Problem is bottleneck in the manufacturing process because components are not made quickly enough. The need is provide a timely and adequate supply of these components. That is a need. And the problem again is sales representatives cannot access their clients' account details while out of the office. Need is give better service to customers. That is a need, so that the sales representatives are able to get the clients' accounts. What is the ideal outcome? Identify the outcome that you want to see once you have implemented a solution, and that is the ideal outcome. What is the ideal outcome? Don't think of any particular solutions at this point. Your aim is to visualize the result of a successful solution, not the solution itself. What is the ideal outcome? It helps to be specific here. Increase weekly sign ups by 20%, and that is the statement of the problem. Or don't say that increase the sales, or immediately tell increase the sales by 10%, increase the sales by 15%, there should be some figure attached to it. Be specific in giving a problem. Don't be ambiguous. Justify the need then. Finally, you have to justify the need. Once you understand the need for solving the problem, you must then justify why is this need, why you should solve it. To do this, answer these questions. Is effort aligned with your overall strategy? If efforts which you are making are aligned with the overall strategy of the organization, this problem and the effort that you will be putting into solving it must align with your organization's strategic priorities, as well as its mission, as well as its vision, objectives, targets and goals. What benefits do we want and how can we measure them? Identify what benefit your organization as a whole will see when you solve the problem, and think about how you can measure these in relation to its overall strategy and objectives. Be as specific as possible. Are we likely to be able to implement a solution? Now then ask a question to yourself, that are we likely to be able to implement a solution? If the solution is there, will be there to solve the problem, will be there to implement them. Think about factors such as how you will get support from stakeholders and decision makers, and how you will access the required resources and expertise. This may involve speaking with senior managers in your organization to understand what resources they can make available to you. So, you are to involve the top management who will provide you the resources. Understand the problem and its wider context. In steps 1 and 2, you identified why you need a solution and why it is important to your strategy and mission. Write a problem statement now. Now you are there to write the statement, you have to define the problem. The final step is to pull together all of the information which you have gathered so far and then state it in a statement form, in a definition form. State problem. We will go back to the example which narrated earlier. State problem now. After understanding the problem and collecting facts, college problem can be stated as how to give bus routes to drivers before session starts. This is a basic problem. Basic problem is not indiscipline of the students. Basic problem is not the poor attendance. Basic problem is now how to give bus routes to drivers before session start. This now problem is totally different, because this we have understood after getting the facts, and now we are able to narrate the problem, we are able to define the problem. Now the next step is collect data. Collect correct and genuine data regarding the problem. This is the main of this point. Facts have already been collected. Data, facts and statement of problem will form a platform for finding solution to the problem. Now we will come to the finding of root cause of the problem. What is that cause which is bothering and which is creating a problem? We have to find out that, and there are so many tools available to find out the root cause. We can make use of any of them and find the root cause. There are so many methods: CATWOE, root cause analysis, CACON, cause and consequence diagram, systems diagram, interrelationship diagram, and so many other diagrams. CATWOE. Now we will discuss this particular tool, CATWOE, what we understand by this CATWOE tool and how it is there to solve the problem of finding the root cause. What do you do when you are faced with a really big business problem? Maybe your employee retention is low and you are looking for the reason why the employee retention is low. This is a problem. Perhaps your first step is to brainstorm the possible reasons, and maybe then you apply a range of different problem solving skills. But what if you are focused on the wrong problem, or you are just looking at a symptom of a larger problem, as in the case of a college problem? By focusing on one specific problem, you tend to stop looking for other problems. Okay? You are to narrow down only on the main problem, and that is when you risk missing something that is potentially more important, more fundamental than the problem you first decided to investigate. This is where CATWOE can help you avoid making serious mistakes or not getting to the root cause of the problem. Now, understanding CATWOE method. In the 1960s, Peter Checkland, a systems engineer professor, developed a problem solving methodology called soft systems methodology, which sought to apply systems principles to business and other soft problems. And then CATWOE was devised, and this particular method again comes from SSM technique only. What is the full form of CATWOE? Customers. C stands for customers, who receives the system's output. Actors, who perform the work within or implements changes to the system. Transformation, what is affected by the system. And what does it do? This is often considered the most important part of CATWOE tool. Word view, what is the big picture of the problem? This is given by the word view. Owner, who owns the process, who owns the problem, who is there to give the solution? He is called the owner. Environment, what are the restrictions and limits on any solution? That is given by the environment. What else is happening around it? That is also given by environment. This explains the full form of CATWOE tool. When you look at all 6 of these elements and consider the situation from all these perspectives, these 6 elements are there to, you have to see the problem from all these 6 angles and all these 6 perspectives. You open your thinking beyond the issue that sits directly in front of you. By using CATWOE, the output of your brainstorming and problem solving should be much more comprehensive and much more caretaking of these 6 stakeholders, and then the solution will be perfect. And this is, again, before you try to solve any important problem, use the CATWOE checklist to brainstorm the various people and elements that are affected. Then you will be able to get the root cause. Which one is affected the most? That is the root cause of the problem. Again, taking the example of low employee retention rates that we used at the start of this article, start your thinking not with reasons why it is happening or by trying to identify solutions, but by using CATWOE to expand your thinking beyond certain limits. There are 6 particular phases, 6 particular areas where we should see the problem where it lies. Step 1, define what you are thinking about. Remember, this is not a problem statement. This is not a problem statement. It is merely a statement describing the situation, thinking about ways to improve employee retention, where to find out the solution using CATWOE. Step 2, brainstorm ideas around the various CATWOE elements. CATWOE explained further. We will discuss the customers. First point is the customers. Who is being served and what problems are they experiencing? Organization as a whole, lower productivity because not enough people, high cost of retraining, high cost of losing customers, teams, employees, more work with lots of vacancies, stress because of increased workload, low morale with the high turnover, organization's customers, low production and inexperienced staff, affects quality and supply, higher levels of dissatisfaction. We have to discuss all these. We have to face all these and find out what is the reason for low retention of the employees in the company. Then we have to see the actors. A stands for actors. Who will implement the solution? HR department, must look at recruiting techniques, must look at internal systems that may be affecting employee leaving rates organization wide, must look at how employees are treated, how are employees trained and supported, how can we keep people happy so that they are retained, and all these things have to be seen. And here we are discussing actors who have to take action, because the employees' responsibility lies with the HR department. T stands for transformation process. What is being affected? The system of recruiting and selecting employees, including advertising, resume writing, interviewing, testing, reference checking, other systems like performance evaluation, rewards and recognition, training and development, mentoring and coaching. Here again I want to emphasize that we are discussing employee retention. What are the causes, what are the reasons for low employee retention? And this CATWOE is discussing 6 elements, and under these 6 elements we have to address the problem to all of these 6 elements to get to the root cause of the problem. W stands for world view, to get a broader picture of the problem. What is the larger picture? Is our company culture driving people away, or are we not hiring the right employees, or are we driving the right employees away? Do people feel that they or we are making a positive contribution to the world? This will be done through getting the broader view of the problem, and this is under world view. Now we will discuss the owner. Owner may also have the problem, and that particular person may create the root cause of the problem. Who owns the process currently? Individual managers across the organization or HR department itself must be aware of resistance to change, have to show value in terms of money and the satisfaction. Now we will discuss the last part of the CATWOE tool, environment and environmental constraints. Are the constraints present because of the environment? What constraints must you work under? A culture that is traditional and change resistant. Time and money, we need lots of things. Our government policies are making the employees to leave. Employees market, it is hard to find staff nowadays. So this we have discussed CATWOE method of finding the root cause of the problem. Step 3, analyze your answers to the CATWOE questions which we have posed. Look for underlying processes that are having the greatest impact on the issue you are investigating. In the example above, the following likely have the greatest impact on this issue. First one is the corporate culture, which is responsible for low employee retention, and the second one is employee training. After analyzing the CATWOE, we have found these are the root causes of the problem. Step 4, from these processes, separate out the problems that you can identify and then begin your process of problem solving. Notice that you will have a larger number of problems and presumably more root problems than you would otherwise have started out with. For instance, our company culture is not people oriented. This has been found after getting the facts of the corporate culture. New people are left to sink or swim. So there is no orientation training. This is further investigation has given that there is no orientation training. Now we are discussing, I am reminding you that we are discussing the low employee retention. First 2 reasons, 2 causes were found. Out of these 2 causes, again further details are given. The first is there is no orientation training program. The rewards we give are not motivating and engaging people. Tracing a problem to its origin, again a root cause analysis. This is a different method, RCA. RCA is a root cause analysis. Earlier we have discussed CATWOE process, and this is now discussing RCA root cause analysis, tracing a problem to its origins. RCA is a popular and often used technique that helps people answer the question of why the problem occurred in its first place. RCA seeks to identify the origin of a problem. It uses a specific set of steps with associated tools to find the primary cause of the problem, so that you can solve it, you can determine what happened. RCA will give you determine why it happened, figure out what to do to reduce the likelihood that it will happen again. RCA assumes that systems and events are interrelated. An action in one area triggers an action in another, and so on. By tracing back these actions, one can discover where the problem started and how it grew into the symptoms you now facing. You will usually find three basic types of causes if you analyze the above particular things. There are physical causes. Tangible material items failed to some way. For example, a car's brakes stopped working and the accident occurred. Human causes. People did something wrong or did not do something that was needed. Human causes typically lead to physical causes. For example, no one filled the brake fluid, which led to the brakes failing. Organizational causes. A system, process or policy that people use to make decisions or do their work is faulty. For example, no one person was responsible for vehicle maintenance and everyone assumed someone else had filled the brake fluid. This is an organizational cause. These three causes are there, and every problem the root cause is out of one of these three causes. Root cause analysis looks at all these three types of causes. It involves investigating the patterns of negative effects, finding hidden flaws in the system, and discovering specific actions that contributed to the problem. This is often means that RCA reveals more than one root cause. If more than one root cause is there, that will be revealed by RCA analysis. You can apply root cause analysis to almost any situation and all the situations. Determining how far to go in your investigation requires good judgment and common sense. Theoretically, you could continue to trace root causes back to the Stone Age, but the effort would serve no useful purpose. Be careful to understand when you have found a significant cause that can in fact be changed. The root cause analysis process, there are different steps for putting this RCA into operation. Step 1, define the problem. What do you see happening? What are the specific symptoms of the problem? Step 2, collect data. What proof do you have that the problem exists? How long has the problem existed? What is the impact of the problem that we have to see while analyzing the root cause, while putting RCA into operation? You need to analyze a situation fully before you can move on to look at factors that contributed to the problem. To maximize the effectiveness of your root cause analysis, get together everyone, experts and frontline staff also, who understands the situation, people who are responsible for the problem, are most familiar with the problem and can help lead you to a better understanding of the issues and the solution to the problem. A helpful tool at this stage is CATWOE, already discussed. With this process, you look at the same situation from different perspectives. The customers, the people, means actors who implement the solutions, the transformation process that's affected, the world view, the process owner, and environmental constraints. Step 3, now we'll discuss the step 3. Identify possible causal factors. Causal factors are the causes which are giving the problem. What sequence of events leads to the problem? What conditions allow the problem to occur? What other problems surround the occurrence of the central problem? Is there any other problem also which is related to the main problem? That should also be seen and the solution should be found. During this stage, identify as many causal factors as possible. Too often people identify one or two factors and then stop, but that's not sufficient. With RCA, you don't want to simply treat the most obvious causes, but you should solve all the related problems also which are there as causal factors. Use these tools to help identify causal factors. So, there are different tools available to find out the causal factors of a problem or of a cause of the problem. First tool is appreciation. Use the facts and ask, so what, so many times to determine all the possible consequences of the fact. And this will lead you to different causal factors of the main cause of the problem. Then there are 5 whys. Keep on asking why all the time until you get to the root cause of the problem. Why the coupling failed? Ask a question. There was a failure of a particular driving coupling in a machine. So ask, why did it fail? Answer was, bolt broke down. Why did the bolt break? Get an answer to it. Why the bolt material was weak? Again, have an answer. Then ultimately go to the root cause of the problem. And in this particular example, when the coupling failed, people went on asking why number of times, and finally they found that there was a design problem. And this design problem was not a simple problem because the rotary portion was not balanced dynamically. That's why the bolts were breaking all the time. So this problem, design problem, and finally getting a solution, design was changed, even the dynamic balancing was written on the drawing sheet of the particular sphere. And when people started balancing dynamically that rotor assembly, then the problem of breaking of the bolts stopped. Then there is a drill down tool also. Break down a problem into small detailed parts to better understand the big picture. So break it down into different pieces, different parts, so that the problem is understood and the root cause of the problem is also known. And next is cause and consequence, which is called CATWOE diagram. Create a chart of all the possible causal factors to see where the trouble may have begun. And this is also equivalent to cause and effect diagram. And I have named it cause and consequence diagram. The familiar one, cause and effect diagram, which is also called fishbone diagram, it is made in the form of a fishbone. But the CATWOE diagram is made like a tree diagram or dendrogram. I have made it a diagram for you, you can understand it better. Step 4, identify the root causes. Why does the causal factor exist? What is the real reason the problem occurred? This is under step 4. Use the same tools you used to identify the causal factors in step 3 to look at the roots of each factor. These tools are designed to encourage you to dig deeper at each level of cause and effect, so that finally you get the root cause or the root causes of the problem. Step 5, recommend and implement solutions. What can you do to prevent the problem from happening again? How will the solution be implemented? Who will be responsible for it? And what are the risks of implementation? So far we have discussed the different methods of getting to the root cause of the problem, and we have listed them. In depth, further we will discuss these causes and these methods for finding the root cause of the problem. Specifically, CATWOE diagram and how it is formed, how it is made, how it is analyzed, and how it is read, we shall be discussing maybe tomorrow in my tomorrow's lecture.
Okay. So with these words, friends, we conclude the lecture today, and I thank all of you for watching the lecture. And on your behalf, I thank Dr. Subhas Kakkar for giving such a wonderful and insightful lecture on problem solving. Thank you very much.
Thank you.